Have you ever felt that everything is going wrong in your life, and it all feels like it's coming at you at the same time? Um, if so, this podcast is for you. I want to share my takeaways from a recent trip to Nashville, and a big part of this is the difference between success conscious thinking and failure conscious thinking. And I've got myself in a pattern recently of failure conscious thinking, and it's been massive to realize. So I'm going to delve into this today. So I've just come back from Nashville. It was a mastermind session with about 20, 30 of us. I don't know how many in total. We are in this mastermind group with my mentor, Stu, and we meet up every month on Zoom. And then we meet up every year in person. And I have to admit, beforehand, I was questioning, do I really need to go all the way to Nashville, leave my children for a week? It meant missing my son's birthday morning, which I'd never done before. There's stuff around the house that needs to be paid for. I know, and I was getting in the mindset of, I really shouldn't be doing this. But anyway, I'd committed to doing it, and I did, and I am so glad that I did. So in the weeks before this trip, my life had been feeling quite intense. And I even did a podcast episode last week about this, about feeling burnt out. And I really was feeling burnt out. And the reasons really were a lot to do with things going wrong in my life. And I've recently bought a house, and I love the house. I love the house, but it's causing me some pain. And there's been a lot of things just going wrong. Like, I can't even flush the chain upstairs. It just leaks everywhere. The sinks are leaking. The guttering's leaking. I walked outside the other day and I could just see into my next door neighbour's garden. All the fences came down. Everything was overgrown in the garden. The heating wasn't working. There was a flood in my kitchen. I walked down the kitchen the other day and there was just like the whole kitchen was flooded. I've been having some work done in the next room because I'm using this room. This is the dining room, but I'm using it as the office. So I'm doing some work to open up the space next door to convert the garage. And I was really frightened doing that, working with builders and stuff that I've never done before. I'm on my own. It was intimidating. And the builder's just done one, and he's like ran off with the money, and it's all got to be taken out and done again. And then I get a fine come through the post because I accidentally went over the speed limit. So, and then the funny thing is, I got all that news about the builder on the Monday. So this was just a couple of weeks ago. And I just thought I was going to be sick. I just thought, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. Like, I've just spent thousands on this guy. And it's all got to be taken out and done again. And I just wanted to cry. In fact, I think I did cry. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll just sit and sort out my Esther for the plane. I sat down to sort the Esther out for the plane, and my passport was expiring. So I was like, I can't even go to Nashville. I was like, someone give me a break. And this is just the tip of it. I mean, there's been so many things in the last few weeks. And it was funny because I said to my friend Sharon, I said, it almost feels like I'm bringing all this on myself. And I know you got to be careful. I'm not like saying, oh, it's all my fault. But I was feeling like this is not coincidence. There's something weird going on right now in my life, and everything is going wrong. Anyway, stepping on that plane and getting to Nashville, which I got my passport and my visa with 24 hours before I was flying. And it was really needed. I cannot tell you how much I needed to just get away. And I know that I'm very fortunate because we all can't just step on a plane and go off to Nashville. But just the change of scenery, and it's taught me that we don't have to go on a plane to Nashville for that change of scenery. We can create that in our own lives, and it's made me remember that years ago, especially when I didn't have much money. I would just ring people up and say, can I just come and stay at your house? I just need a change of scenery. And I realized as a person how much I need that. I need to, and especially when the house has caused so much pain recently, being in it has been hard, because it's that silent to-do list. There's to-do list everywhere. I've got lawnmower in my kitchen and everything's upside down. Work's been done on the garage. So it's been intense. And so one, just stepping away, and it's made me realize that I don't have to go to Nashville to do that. I can do that anywhere. I can literally just go out now and step away and get a change of scenery. So that's been lesson one. Getting on that plane, I took this book, Think and Grow Rich, with me, which I read years and years and years ago. And in this book, in the very first chapter, it talked about the difference between success conscious and failure conscious. And as soon as I read it, I thought, oh my gosh, I am failure conscious. I realized that I've got myself into a pattern of noticing all the things that are going wrong in my life and focusing on them. And I keep talking about them but with people all the time. And this is going wrong and I'm fueling it. And now this has gone wrong in my life and this has gone wrong. And I am literally spending like all my days talking about everything that's going wrong in my life, which was deserved. But I realize that it's that thing where focus goes, energy flows. And I have been really focusing on the things that are going wrong. And it's almost like, and I know this is a bit woo-woo and a bit out there now, but it is, I believe this. I believe that what we give energy to, it grows. And it's no coincidence that things are coming at me and things are going wrong. And I felt like that. I was like, this isn't a coincidence. And of course, it's not my fault, but I do believe that it's this thing I'm focusing on. So it's been a massive aha moment for me to just realize that, wow, that I've fallen into the failure conscious mindset without even realizing. And so I was reading in this book about being success focused, and that instead is, it's acknowledging these things are happening and it's crap. But being success focused is kind of quickly turning that around and finding solutions and staying on track with, right, where are we going? What are we doing? And turning things around and looking at things in a solution-based way. But also it's more than that, really thinking about success as being absolutely possible. So what I mean by this is that when I started to feel like everything was going wrong, there's more things to pay out, I shouldn't go on the trip, I really should put this money here now. I literally felt my mindset shifting to, I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that, I shouldn't go here, I've got to stop doing this. I really didn't realize how bad my mindset had got until I stepped away. And then I could almost like look at it and go, wow, I've got myself in such a pickle. And so turning that around towards really knowing that this can be turned around. So when you're in the thick of it and everything's going wrong and everything's leaking and the builder's just on a runner and like there's all these things piling and you literally feel like it's all piling on top of you, it's really hard to stay success focused when you feel that way, because you start to think, I shouldn't be doing this and my future is going to be bleak now, and oh my gosh, I've got to change the way I live, and before you know it, you can start to actually redesign your life in a really negative way based on all the things that are happening right now. And what I've realized is these things that are happening now aren't going to be happening forever. And I have to keep that mindset of success, because when everything's going wrong, you feel like a bit of a failure. And I'm like, what's going wrong with my life? Why am I doing this? Why is it? And I remember actually being in Sharon's garden the day I found out about the builder, because I was really quite upset. And I went round to Sharon's house and I told her what had happened. And I was saying things like, I don't actually think I can take anymore. I just felt like there was so much stress in my life. I don't think I can take anymore. It's like, please stop throwing all these things at me because you're breaking me now. And I remember being in the garden with Sharon, and she said, take your shoes off, take your shoes and socks off, and come and stand on the grass. It was pretty cold. Come and stand on the grass and just get your feet back on the ground. Just feel the earth under your feet in the grass. And she just turned around to me and she said, money is just money. You know, it feels painful to have gone through that experience, but money is just money. Don't let this eat you up. And it was interesting because we stood on the grass together for a while. And of course, I understood why I was upset about this because it was a bad situation to be in. But something interesting came out whilst we were stood on the grass with bare feet. And I blurted out, I feel like this is my fault. And I burst out crying. And this was a really interesting exercise too, because it made me realize that sometimes when things in life go wrong, we have a tendency to blame ourselves, and to think that it's our fault. And it was really weird how I didn't even know that, and it just blurted out of my mouth. And I was like, I feel like this is my fault. And she's, we talked about it, and of course it wasn't my fault. But it was a big, big shift in just processing that whole situation. And then I got on the plane just a few days after and then picked up this book, and it feels like there's all these signs coming at me now to just change the way I think. But when all of that's going on and you feel like this is your fault, and you feel like, oh my God, I can't cope with this anymore, I can't do this anymore, please don't give me any more things that are going wrong, I'm broken. And when we keep saying that to ourselves, it feels it even more. And what I've realized is I can cope. I can. And it is a lot right now. I'm acknowledging that it is a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So I need to reach out for help. And I need to keep a success conscious mindset. And so if you feel yourself slipping into that, where you start to repaint a really crappy picture of your future, know that whatever's happening right now in this moment doesn't define your future, because you can change it. You can change it tomorrow. And this is the power that I realized going to Nashville is I've been away for a week and I feel like a completely different person, and I'm thinking in a different way, and I'm filled up again. I won't say I'm completely free from burnout because I still feel like it has been a lot, but it's really interesting how we can quickly turn things around. And one of the things that really helped in Nashville was the people. And I want to reiterate this, being around people. Oh my goodness me. So we had to do some scary things out of our comfort zone whilst we were there, climbing trees, climbing ropes. And one of the things that I really underestimate sometimes is the power of having other people that believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And I was stood there on these ropes, absolutely terrified to take my foot. I'm terrified of heights, and that for me is like, well, I'm not interested in climbing up trees and things like that and doing zip lines. I watch my children do it, but I was there to give it a go, and I didn't feel nervous at the bottom because I thought, I watch my children do this all the time, can't be that hard. And I'm always the parent at the bottom going, go on, you can do it, you can jump off that really high thing, go on. You can do it, I believe in you. And then they're going, ah. And I thought, I can do that. But it's so different when you're up there. And I did the first two, because you're doing all these like assault courses. And I did the first one and it was okay. Did the second one and I didn't realize I was going higher and higher. And I came to the third one and I was pretty high up on a tiny little platform, looking at one cable that I had to step on with just one cable above me to hold on to, high up, wobbling around. And I panicked and I went to my knees. And there was these people coming, and then there was only like this little space on this platform. I was like, I have to get off here. So they were trying to fumble around me. I was like, I have to get off. I thought, if I got here, I can get back. As much as I didn't want to go back, because that was terrifying too. But I managed to get off, and then I went back down to the bottom and I said, have you got one of these for children I can just practice on? He said, this is the, go down this yellow one. It's a fairly easy one that people start with. So I did that. And this again is another reminder of when we're faced with a big task in life, always break it down into the next step before you give up. So it's like, just how can you shrink it down into the next step so you can warm up? And so I was about to give up and I thought, no, let's just start gently. And I went on this yellow, which was still a little bit scary. And then a voice behind me, there was someone called Lisa who was taking part in the event too. She shouted, Michelle, is that you? And I really didn't want to be around anyone because I felt embarrassed because I thought I'm being so pathetic on this thing. And I was like, yeah, hi. Anyway, she caught me up. And I'm so glad she reached out to me. And she was such a beautiful soul that could tell that I was nervous. And she literally stood by my side, and every time I kept going to the next one and I was paranoid about having the ropes, and I was like, can you just check that I am attached to this rope before I let go? And I was so nervous, so in my head. And she was there to just keep encouraging me. And we got off that first one, and then she was like, right, let's do another one. Now I was prepared to just leave it there and thought, I've done something, because the next one you had to climb up high on this ladder and do a zip line straight away. And I was stood there on the zip line, so scared to let go. And she was down the other end going, come on, you can do it. And I wanted to know, I was like, right, what's going to happen when I let go? What's going to happen when I get to the other end? How am I going to end up on the other end? Will my legs get there first? I wanted to know all the details. I don't know. I let go. And then we went on this adventure. And I've got to say, I didn't enjoy one bit of it. Not one bit. There was some when I was on the zip line that I kind of think I was enjoying it. But I've definitely done other things that I've enjoyed more. But what it taught me was, oh my gosh, that we can do so much more when we've got other people around us, just giving us a little push. And I would never have done that. And I am really glad that I did it. I really am, because it taught me that feeling of being scared and actually overcoming that fear and that physical fear that we have, that I know I'm going to lean into next year as I do more speaking and as I get the book out into the world. And so these things are definitely metaphors. You don't have to go and jump out of, from a tree to tree to get this same feeling. But the main thing here is the people around you. It's so important, the people around you. And I do believe in extending this beyond friends and family. I have really great friends and family, but when it comes to kind of like pushing forwards and pushing a little bit out of the comfort zone, that's why I love creating this community that we have, because we're all on a kind of shared pathway. We want to explore our boundaries and push ourselves and do great things. And to do that, having that support around you and having that person that's going to go, you can do this, I believe in you. It's honestly gold. It's so valuable. And I think as we go through this journey of being artists and creatives, and we're creating personal work and putting it out in the world, having those people around you is so important. And I also made many connections. I now have big opportunities next year that I didn't have by going to that week. It's just made me realize also how life can feel pretty grim one minute and then feel absolutely amazing. And you've got all these connections and crazy things happening the week after. I went from builder, passport, life crumbling, I'm a failure, what's wrong with me, to this incredible week, and then coming back with all these amazing contacts and ideas. And yeah, so that's another lesson in all of this. You literally don't know what point your life can just turn around. And knowing that everything is seasonal, that whatever you're going through now isn't forever. So there's my lessons from Nashville. We also we also did fun stuff. We went on a golf buggy around Nashville looking at all the mural art on the streets, which was fantastic. We went to a show. We went to the Johnny Nashville Museum and didn't realize that Johnny Nash, Johnny Nashville. Johnny Cash Museum. Sorry, laughing at myself. I'm not going to cut that out. I'll leave that in. Johnny Nash, Johnny Nashville, Johnny Cash. We went to the Johnny Cash Museum and I didn't realize that he was an artist as well. He created artworks and I saw his artworks and some parts of his journal. It was really, really lovely to see. And then we obviously did the 2-day event. And in the 2-day event, we were talking about business things. People were doing talks. There was a lot of talk around Instagram. One of the things being at the moment, there's a trend. I don't like playing the Instagram game, but sometimes we have to. And one of the things at the moment on Instagram, you may or may not know this, is reels and getting people to read the captions. It's this short video content that's like 7 seconds long. And if you can get people to read the caption, it keeps looping the video over and over. So people stay on it longer and it increases the algorithms. So we were playing around with doing some B-roll Instagram footage and in your graphic you end up saying a big headline to get people's attention and then encourage them to read the comments and it gets them to stay on the video, and the longer they're staying there then the more your posts are boost. It's one of those games that we play. You may or may not. I don't usually play the Instagram game, but it was fun to do that and to try that reel, and I did one and it definitely worked, and I might do some more. But yeah, so there was lots of interesting conversations again because people are overwhelmed. Bite-sized things, building up relationships more than ever are crucial. So yeah, it was a really, really, really incredible trip. And that's it. There's my takeaways. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back next week for some more talk. Take care. Have a great week.